buy the Punch TV so much and then the first time I do her channel here. Subscribe my and like and share we so Jawadrin share our comment section or for my ebusuan for some lamino say a political trending story be up to for much say ebusuan for agent ha just say afa baby obi a can ebusuan for my uncle ni uncle video name right by e de enu nchire mu nyina ebeble
Ibiano kamia yesa mi sisubio read my lips ma mo monitor and conform mo kick and conform ho nsem read my lips me say kamia yesa you are becoming predictable. It appears as though you are becoming predictable. Obi di assemble to monima obi betima predict one have mo ya bet in yado Ghana Judiciary e go to bet ya dey mu a there be a man for be cash out because mo twako afabi and anya me nko na make asem way na no mo ankasa mo Albert Dapaah we national security minister wo be ka asem way se ba se de musidi asem e wasani bia mo twako fabi na sa fa na mo twako no e problematic tie wono ankasa nanum asem.
A judicial system that works. If you do not have a system, a judicial system that works, many people will simply take the laws into their own hands and misbehave and do what they want. Therefore, in trying to manage the security situation, it is important for us that we do get a judicial system that works. And we are all lucky that in the sub-region, we are perceived as a country where the judicial system works and where you could expect justice. If the interpretation of the law is tilted so much in our favor all the time, people will start accusing the judiciary and will not have the confidence that they need.
It is a maybe a temuno, it Chabaya Femua, power, the Amafo Besha said, you monsa, atnetne, Mwamwa se Nibiacho. The bedroom may be a Omunya Tidi, a woman, when you mensem, where ye honorable Dapaah, Nenumasem. And on my church, you would treat us and what ye.
We are perceived.
And Mrenina Shua, Quatinaso, Eddie is at, say, Speaker Sama Waka, a was a Genano, Yamontu. So when him be free. The only man said the speaker no bekano, and no nobody so. And then a so far speaker naka, speaker na say, Monamuya dom kesiye, et yanwa no mudi so. Send the speaker so monanti ko pumwa, one man anti eura pumu. Se speaker so monanti engure jema, one be ure jem. The speaker nakano, and only asemo munim. And yentie honorable a year at Boja Governance. A brand now what the cocobon sembi a tuga and yafa a dream fee a dream ponibia a won't go for bitrim titru fatina ho am rasobe jafona and your massem asra for the somebody barracks in a mutio and you see men nan you know say asra for ni nyina niamo ye omope ya wasra for bia e didi omutrim e wo mumu se ne e kwaso omompe wo mo so omoto aba special voting Danny Dura, Omubakwa Madrin. Omu Adventure, Ewa Huche Air Causeway, Omu Adventure, Ewa Memo Funya Air Causeway. Omu Adventure, but then you know Mokusa, a show with him. And Sadia Yani Akoswa, what was a talk so Yabawo Banya Bedusa level way. Etiadentina, Obi to me Fiabia, when ya power the fair. Or Pasua Gina said to me Fiana so. And the same be fair way ya. I'm a Ghana by a crabbe. To be fear me or Bienya or pursue a general at the side your way. But no about Boja Governance at the San Juan in Abba. Conano Moye or be a fimo. Nano Moye or be a near tree. And pet on your cra. One making sa or than say Asra for number. Was this Asra for now? Mutite Muremuano. Sasra for now. Mutitem Rasabe Fie and feature honor. Wamama warning. So Tina, Wabro Mukwa Tenase, Heno Bia Bibia, and some fata, Tieno.
It was government that ordered the military and the police to enter the chamber and assault members of parliament. Indeed, my colleague, Honorable, our colleague, filed a motion for those individuals, of which we have details of those military officers and what they did in the chamber. But I can guarantee you it's not yet sunset on those issues. Just to add, we are aware that between yesterday and today, some elements of government have had a meeting again to deploy the military to the precincts of Parliament to enter the tent. We are aware of that. We can just ask those around the Accra Sports Stadium that at the point in time tomorrow, they repeat the same misconduct. We can guarantee them the people of this country are sovereign. If you wear a military uniform or police uniform, you work to the Constitution. But they should be aware that the life of this government is less than 2 months. They will have to account for their conduct in 2020 and whatever they do tomorrow. But they shouldn't be surprised the people of this country would react forcefully to any misconduct of anybody in uniform.
But you see, the funny thing is, yes, how much no take his decisions now. I don't imagine say, oh my, I know what is your winning in our say, and I am a fwad your monkey can swore. It will surprise you. What I mean, no Casano. What I mean, no Casano. It will surprise you to know, say, a Jamubina Mokoya, no. Amuko Kochia Fanano. Someone, yes, Adiano. It will surprise you to know, say, now man for me was Jamunasia. The Nana monkey can no more and your show. It will leak information. Edemai. It will shock you. Said the Namusi Kochi, and your way of Fahasea, Ebi Obi argue, say, eti argument weno, a yano could say no. San no mana moyeno, anamone afrano, yeno. It will shock you to know, say, a man for anamoni or multi meeting national. Not all of them were happy about it. And that is the reason here, Ombe leaking information, be say, Adiama Yemubi. And say, Honorable Agboja Governance, Kadi Okana, where I'm Rasha Bedwani, one man Metina Bedwam, and Kasakwa. No, for politics, etun change for once. Ebiasi pain, your memoir, Ebram Rasha Bedway, Rasha Bedway, and show Mujumedi Asafo Frono. Asra for no mubegu or no free, and you then no mobile, why the castle Momra. Dobio, why your Juma says so you need pain. Ube to about Bedima dance your say, Asra for no, so being Casa move, Muti free move, unless there be a good guitar. But say Ghana no Coca-Cola, but you say, but may fat one America. Who use the word cool, heavy crapper. Cap na can one can ye na goga kua ye ba be so but say hu na mo de ahye nkofuo mu no te say de opam hufu a woto ne be ma no say de afuro ye yo te say de ya bramo enough is enough ayedai and a one arm of the government ebe ye subservient to the other. How did we get here? It is to say abu chat one say from now on speaker and make it ruling be a obia wakwenya so the court akwaji nchirechiremu. Is that what you want? Say next speaker and make it ruling e bia wo man kasa mu business one obi beka say okay dey the court akwaji nchirechiremu. What kind of banana republic agenda is this? What kind of banana republic agenda is this?
Power the fam.
What say media coming kwanke kuru an parliament. Asa jina nyame dem e de nyame asem preachi asem no kwa wo preachi no kwa no wonte ase me ne wo me mo din no wanya din wona me kasa kira no ba bia Ghana adru no se wan fa common sense anya adwea wan fa common sense andi ujuma wan hwa wo de o how kase beba common sense ne ne say wo koda usumye no so a o say speaker e bro mo de asem no betu na anim hwepani sane e bibifo ye ade no wo se mi ko bisa brewa enye animu no so no ogina ye ade atamu ne ba ye wanyina nkra ne mu antete nkra ne speaker wo hwe efri bra wo mu ye ne speaker wo ye ne bibia se bibini wo ba ye obetu broni kwakwa atade hodo ye ya na speaker foi wo se muntungu ba bi na yen se ye kuro mu ntade na yenye ye no ma se bibifo From day one, Speaker has been loyal to the values, culture of this country. From day one. And Ebana Temwom se wo yi aten e dia fa bibi ho a won pre no ho sa na bibi fo ye no ma ye mpre ye ho ye de kwa adwindwin mu ye bisa brewa wo bisa brewa na che se wo de kwa adwindwin mu wo de kwa bisa wo ko bisa nkofo enkofo mpo a o ma bedi sa di brani bi pen ena fe so wo kwhwe nwumam amanfo ma di sa di brani bi pen a o ma che o ma dwen e wo nwuma ahoduom na ade akwa adwindwin mu wo bisa wo nyame a wo bo wo a wo de wo to asase iso sa na nyansani ye na ade ba obi a wo de nafu ene nam no obi de senati e wo na ti kwase yodom ye no sa ni akon ya na woni akoto sa ni akon wo hunu oni akon na wo de aduane mana wo hunu na ne yam hihye no fise wonim nia oni akon ba be mana ye o say ya untimi na sisa o say no every day we use aten no woni unua no hwehwe wo de hwe nkofo no wo ko hwe nkofo no obu yi aten na wo ko hwe mu nchi a hwehwe mu abeda di se wo mu nyina ye MPP fo party fo nkwan ya san nkofo ya nansen ya na ekufo do so mu begu mu no omu mu bia no go and check their background. Never person me fa ho. Because o fa na dia dwi bi tu nkofo trim. But unfortunately, mo na ma ye, I was here fa ho. Na ye hwe munchi, ye hwe munchi a ene ye behu ne enti a mo ye ne mo ye. Munchi na kire ne enti a mo ni abra mo ye mu paymaster adwuma. Benso anka inukure kamu a mu paymasters eye yen Ghana for. Yen Ghana for yen ye mu paymasters. President Akufo-Addo de woye papa bia wo begina ye nim ka kire se boy adwuma no obetima ye ene ama no boy adwuma so omehwe man no so etu ono no evie 9 pa no wo after evie 9 wokọ but Ghana for no de ye wo ho afebo Torkono tie me and I don't call level be within the spiritual and physical realms 2 months here okay. Listen, you don't owe anyone.
Power the fan.
What did you make no? You don't owe anyone. And you are here and say, Nyamina fan so ma weduma. Sasa. And yet you obeka na was away yet. Ni a wadwen che say ye no yet. E bere omodi asem no beto speaker anim. Speaker ntu bi ke what say me kwadwen ho aba. Mo ma me 2 days. How many days? Okay, I said 3 and not 2 days. 3 days I said 2 days. 2 days. Agobia, Michael Kwe, Yadeba and oh, that's a way more. Me yana member, no pam wabo. And Adam yesa, and they say, Sano, yet that's one nantiso. Actually, said your nanti and city. I'm moda munti minano. A son of Michael Kwe Kayano, and 1 year nam's way. Weda, one at the buyer. But speaker, right honorable Abon Bagben, was it mammy the from you knew as a miensa. Namin from Quadrin. Na no crado na na chita afo ye NDC for no crado on say na papa wa kwadwiri hu se na adwe se na wo ye se de ene we nya asem bia ye montu hu a edie na besi. So that is someone who is fair minded obi a wo be take decision a wo hunu ba bi o de befa ba mu amugu na wa bra onabo Dapaah kasa wo de atu tirim no ma men kaka e kan ye wo TV3 ni odi kan eye honorable house asuhini we born the anywhere no mama lawyer Martin Pebu we are now the professor plus for example at the appeal so yanko
the injunction not the substantive issue still stuck there. No agency whatsoever is demonstrated on those matters, but every single case that the executive have shown interest in relation to the work of Parliament that has gone before the judiciary has seen expedited action, and in most cases action favorable to the government. Alfred, and people say we should not think that the judiciary is beginning to seem and act and look like an extension of the executive And that when you do that, you are endangering our democracy. But their actions, that makes it clear that they are beginning to look like an extension of the executive, does not endanger our democracy. I mean, are we being rational? That is why the lawyers will tell you that justice is not enough for justice to just be done, and that it must be seen to be done. And so when it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, you cannot convince a layman, a layman that is a miniature. It obviously is a duck. And let me tell you something. The question that Ateva and others haven't been answering is, what were they seeking to injunct, to serve on the speaker? What were they seeking to serve on the speaker? Before,
so ask that question.
Yes, what were they seeking to serve on the speaker?
The injunction.
Injunction not to do what?
Which was rendered moot by the speaker's,
Not to do what? Clearly, an action had to be taken, and we know about the separation of powers. Okay. If you have an issue with an action that is taken by the executive, you cannot injunct, for example, you cannot injunct the executive from doing business. And let me tell you the absurdity. Me, I'm not a lawyer. But you see, I was just looking at the Constitution. I see that you want to wrap me up. I was just looking at the Constitution. Article 78(2). Article 78(2) says that the president shall appoint such number of ministers of state as may be necessary for the efficient running of the state. This is an action that is reserved for the executive.
People were not happy. So you see that, knowing that, hey, now people are getting up, and so they're beginning to erode their confidence in the justice system, I would have thought that they would have gone slowly. You see, you can come to the same decision, but it's how you go about it. Let the other side come. Because look, the key thing we should ask ourselves is that between yesterday afternoon and Monday, that's the last day they could have sat on this matter, what was going to be irretrievably spoiled was the irreparable harm. You can't just write in one sentence, we appreciate the agency. Hey, is that so? Look at the sentence.
Yeah, that's the order.
We appreciate the agency and special circumstances presented to support the filing of this application. The agency and special circumstances lie in the effect of the impugned ruling, which include, then they go on, depriving the four constituencies that the said MPs presently represent, namely, blah, blah, blah. The said four constituencies much harm. So let's say, let's use the typical example. Let's say Apedo has gone into Evans' land and is building. So he's saying that, hey, if it takes even 3 days, the way he's building day and night at breakneck speed, by the time we get him, maybe he would have roofed it. So because of that, Evans can go ex parte before the court, so that if the court assesses all the evidence and thinks, yes, this is a good case, then the court will grant him an ex parte injunction or order, depending on what he wants. It's not only an ex parte injunction. It can also be the stay of execution that the Supreme Court granted yesterday. So the key thing we need to analyze is the urgency of the matter. How urgent is it? And when we say urgent, so what is being destroyed? What harm is being caused in the interim? Yes. So when you bring that to the instant case, as far as I'm aware, Honorable, you may correct me, I understand Parliament is resuming on the 22nd.
Tuesday, yes.
Tuesday. So it means that yesterday, today, tomorrow, Monday, no business in Parliament, right?
Yes.
So where's the urgency?
They said, oh, you are dancing an Onapo song. If I am dancing Onapo song, enyumuya yensa. Common campaign hit song. Common danceable campaign hit song. You've not been able to compose. And if somebody has composed the music and somebody is dancing, that automatically makes him a member of the political party that used that campaign song. Does this thing make sense?
Listening.
And so I'm telling you, you see, you can do all manner of things to divide and to break the front of some labor unions, but not UTAG. We are still on strike. You can go to hell. We are still on strike. But
so a normal would do a mobile show no. Said ye baby a yedru. Yedi to me. Yedi to me no. Say bibia. And they are forgetting say to me no Ghana for na de ma omo. And
channel ya subscribe my and like and share we so jawadwen share e comment section ho e fama e ebusuafo sa amla me no kase e political trending story be up to for match say ebusuafo e je say afọ baby